What's up, guys? Max here, back with another brand new episode of the ScuttleButt Show. And if you were just checking out the waiting room, if you were here early, you would see that I was cleaning my computer last night because even though I have a 1 terabyte hard drive on my computer that I run this show from, I had like 30 gigs free and I couldn't figure out why, and everything was running slow. So I was going through deleting everything, and I realized only this morning when I went to go launch the show, I inadvertently deleted the actual waiting room video. So when we come back with a new episode, there'll be a new waiting room. So there's that. That's big news. Now, we've got a couple things to knock out right off the bat, including a little about yesterday. So about yesterday, I got an email, okay? I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys already. I got an email from the creators, the developer team of 6 Days in Fallujah, and they wanted to include me on the partner program for the video game. So they've sent me a handful of pieces of information, press release type stuff about the game that I'll be sharing with you guys the next time I do an update video on that. And if possible, I may be getting on one of the early releases of the game, one of the betas, and maybe I can live stream myself playing it. Even though I wouldn't call myself a gamer necessarily, I'm happy to give you guys my inputs, which people seem to be really digging right now, about war-related video games, including, we've got one today. People have been asking for it. We're going to be talking about Squad, a new game that just today launched. Its sequel is coming out. So the new trailer for the sequel is coming out. So that is something we're going to talk about today. We've got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. April, jets are flying overhead. That's always a good start. We've got April is Military Child Month. So go thank a military child for their service. If you know a family who's got a bunch of kids and the parents are taking turns being away on deployment and stuff, you know that that's not easy. Military kids take that in stride. They're troopers, so good for them. I watched the first episode of the United States of Al. We're going to talk about that. We've got the Taliban throwing threats out there. We have all kinds of stuff to talk about today, and including a new movie that just got announced, a military history movie of one of the greatest stories ever in the military. We're going to finish today off with that. So there is so much to go over. So I just want to say what's up to everybody in chat. We got Jacob, Sir Nuggets, Boomer, Chris, Danger Zone. We've got Justin, Earl. Everybody's in the chat today. So I hope I got everybody. Andrew, hope I got everybody in the chat. It's great to see you all here. Thank you for joining me today. So I am excited to get today's show started. So without any further ado, let's get right into the first story of today, which is my review of the first episode of United States of Al. Now, we covered this yesterday. My reaction to the trailer is up on the YouTube channel, so if you guys haven't had already a chance to see that, that whole video is up. You can go check that out. But the United States of Al, if you don't know, here's a quick synopsis. I have to make a correction because I called the main character a soldier. He's a Marine. So Marine veteran Riley, home at last after serving in Afghanistan, is happily reunited with his friend Al-Amir, who goes by Al, the interpreter with his unit, after a long struggle to get him a visa to travel to the United States from Afghanistan. Episode 1, you can see it here on my screen, is available to watch now. By the way, this is not a promotion. I'm just letting you guys know. You can watch it totally for free. You don't even have to sign up for this website, but there were long commercial breaks throughout the episode, so 2-3 minute commercial breaks throughout the episode, including one commercial break, a full-length one, where then the show comes back only for like a 5-second clip and then it's over. So I always hate when they get me like that. Quit getting me like that, TV. I don't appreciate it. So what did I think of this first episode of the United States of Al? I thought it was great. It's right off the bat, starts off with hard hitting with the jokes and the emotion. The very first scene, there's tears and throwing shade at the Air Force. And any show, any media whatsoever that takes the opportunity to make fun of the Air Force as the softest branch gets 2 thumbs up recommendation from me. So I can guarantee you guys, if you're into that kind of military joking around type stuff, then you will enjoy the United States of Al. Now, to give it a critical review, it has for sure all the makings of a pilot of a show, okay? A pilot episode. It's not the highest budget show ever. You can tell that they have probably a skeleton crew that you would call it, like the fewest amount of people possible to make this show come to life. It's got a great cast. Everyone does a great job. I'm just going to call this guy Hank from Breaking Bad, who's probably the most well-known character. He does a great job as the kind of like all-American, unaware of foreign cultures, dude who's trying to, be nice to Al as he comes in. Everyone loves Al. Al is a hero. He's kind of like the heart of the show is Al, and he's trying to help everybody. Even though they helped him come to America, maybe he's the one who's here to help everyone else. And the show was really good. Overall, it made me laugh really hard at some points. At some points, it was, very sitcom. It's a sitcom. There were some sitcom-y parts, some studio audience laughter at things that I thought were kind of But overall, for the first episode of this show, the pilot episode, I can rate it and recommend it highly. I think you guys should go check it out and give it a shot. It was really good, and there's a lot of depth, and it is surprisingly, refreshingly authentic military, okay? The stuff they do with the Marine Corps, with Afghanistan, all of this was really good. They make jokes about guns. They make jokes about terrorists. They make jokes about the Marine Corps. They make fun of the Air Force. All of it. They're trash talking each other in a very military buddy kind of way. I mean, it blew me away. I was super surprised. It was refreshing to see this made for television. Now, if you're a fan of Big Bang Theory, How I Met Your Mother, those kinds of shows, this might be right up your alley. It's very much that style, but all military themed, and they do a great job with that. So I got to say, United States of Al, I can recommend you guys go check it out. And if you do, let me know what you thought about that episode in the comments down below. So I see a bunch of people popping up in the chat. I want to say what's up to everybody. So what's up, Regal? Nice to see you always in the chat. I hope you're doing well. During the commercial breaks, I just do a couple of push-ups or crunches. Boomer, good to go. I like the actor who played Hank. Yeah, he's good, isn't he, Jacob? He's a good actor. I liked him in Breaking Bad. Was he the Hulk too, or the Thing? Was he the Thing in that old Fantastic Four movie? I was trying to remember that yesterday. So overall, I thought the show was really good. And if you guys do check it out, if you guys do watch it, I'd love to know what you think about it. So let me know. Maybe we'll do a weekly roundup of the episodes of United States of Al, because I'm definitely going to tune in for episode 2. Not only did I enjoy the show, but it was totally free. And the fact that it's available online totally for free, I think is just a pretty good deal. So there's this story going around that I consider kind of near and dear to me. I think anything talking detainee ops, military detention facilities is a little bit closer to my heart because I did a detainee ops deployment, crazy deployment. Can't believe the stuff that we did on that deployment. And a story's going around, and I wanted to bring it to your guys' attention because there is a lot to talk about when it comes to Guantanamo Bay, including that new movie coming out. What was that called? The Moravian or something like that. We'll have to check that out when it comes out, but it's about Guantanamo Bay. So U.S. shuts one secret What did I just do? U.S. shuts one secret Guantanamo prison unit, moves prisoners. So this is going around Camp Delta, maximum security prison detention facility, whatever you want to call it. So a one secret unit within the Guantanamo Bay Detention Center that had fallen into disrepair has been closed, and the prisoners moved to another facility on the American base in Cuba, the U.S. military said Sunday. The prisoners at Camp 7 were transferred to a facility adjacent to where the other detainees on the base are held as part of what the U.S. Southern Command said in a statement was an effort to increase operational efficiency and effectiveness. So Guantanamo Bay has been out there for a long time down there on Cuba. It's a small base, and they have the prison there, which infamously has had all kinds of accusations of torture and people coming back out of there with PTSD and all kinds of stuff going on out there. So, whatever you think about Guantanamo Bay, it looks like there are, and there's been calls to close it. Presidents have said they're going to close Guantanamo Bay and whatever, get people out of there. I think part of the controversy is people have been held there for 10, 15, 20 years without trial, and on a lot of times with a weak basis for being held or no real, gain to be made by keeping them there. I kind of get some of that. There's no question that in Iraq and Afghanistan, the United States has locked up cab drivers and civilians and pedestrians. I mean, I'm just telling you, there's no question about it. There's historical evidence. There's movies made about it. There's cases in court that have been dealing with this stuff. So there's some legitimacy to advocating for an overhaul of detained prisoners, and if this stuff makes any sense still, or at least try them and give them a sentence if they're being held. So anyway, officials have previously said about 14 men were held in Camp 7. There are about 40 prisoners at Guantanamo as of now. Southern Command said that the Camp 7 prisoners were moved to Camp 5 safely and without incident, Camp 5 being adjacent to Camp 7, but did not say when the transfer occurred. Camp 5, which was largely empty, is next to Camp 6, where the other detainees are held. It must be weird to be down there at Guantanamo right now working when there is basically no prisoners there, and it used to be a place set up to hold 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people. I think it probably is able to hold that many, and now it's just totally empty. Camp 7 opened in December 2006 for prisoners previously held in a network of clandestine CIA detention facilities, often referred to as black sites, where they were subjected to brutal interrogation techniques. Sometimes, I don't know what they mean by brutal. Some of that stuff was tactical questioning, maybe some waterboarding back. I think waterboarding is still, can you still waterboard? I'm not sure. If anybody knows for sure, if you're still allowed to waterboard, let me know. Among those held at Camp 7 were the 5 prisoners charged with war crimes for their alleged roles in planning and providing logistical support for the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks. President Biden said he intends to close Guantanamo, but that would require approval from Congress to move some prisoners to the U.S. for trial or imprisonment. So that's the deal. People should be tried, sentenced, and then dealt with that way instead of just keeping them on permanent hold in Guantanamo, especially if for 40 people. For 40 people, I don't see how that could be financially make any sense to hold 40 people in Guantanamo Bay at the prison down there. There has to be a ton of better places to do it, or just build a facility in the United States specifically for that. And you don't have to keep as many people stationed in Guantanamo, which probably sucks to be down there, I would think. So I don't know. What do you guys think about Guantanamo Bay being open, or Guantanamo Bay in general? Have you ever been to Guantanamo Bay? I'd love to hear in the chat. Justin says turn it into a skate park. Super duper down with that. That's awesome. Andrew says Obama signed the order to close Gitmo back in 2008. Isn't that crazy? I know what you're talking about, but Gitmo's still open. There's still people down there awaiting trial. Still people down there who have never been sentenced, never been convicted of a crime. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that I know that for sure, but I'm pretty sure. That's the main thing about these military detention facilities, is many of the people in there who've, even if they've been in there for an extraordinarily long time, have never been convicted of anything, and they've never even had a trial. They've had access to a lawyer, they've talked to a lawyer, but they just go on these forever waiting lists. I mean, that's how it is. So April, month of the military child, according to the United States Air Force. I just wanted to, this isn't really a story, but I just wanted to say a shout out to all of the military families with children out there. These kids, we have so many military family friends. Where do I even begin? Shout out to the kids who move around the world, go to all different schools, learn different languages, are constantly meeting and saying goodbye to friends. These kids are tough. This is not easy stuff to go through as a kid, especially in 2020 being a year where so many of my friends' kids are not only living in Japan, displaced American citizens, but they also couldn't even go to school and hang out with their friends because of COVID. So that stuff, I think about it. I'm aware of it. It means a lot to me that kids are dealing with this kind of stuff. And also, I can't tell you how many parties I've been to that kids were exposed to things that they should not have been. I'm talking language, fighting, drunkenness, explosions, all kinds of crazy stuff, gambling. So military kids, they really go through it. There is no question about it that military kids go through it. They experience all kinds of stuff. And that's not even to mention the parents being gone all the time. One or both parents being gone all the time, and the stress that causes. 6-month deployments, 8-month, 18-month deployments that veterans are going out on. If it's a husband, wife, they might be trading off where the husband goes on deployment. If it's a dual military, comes home, then the wife goes on deployment, something like that. This stuff is happening all the time. So I'd like to just take this opportunity, since I saw that today, to say a big shout out to military kids and the hard work and effort and honor, courage, and commitment that they show out there with all the stuff that they've been through. Not easy. And I hope everyone, if you have a military family friend, to just say, hey, kid, thank you for your service too. So what's up, INF Skills in the chat? Boomer, you are a great American. Thanks, amigo, from Jacob. That's awesome. They will have rights on American soil, Andrew says. They should have rights as American prisoners. That's what I think. If we're going to hold them forever, we need to do something with them. It's the humane thing to do. Do something with the prisoners in Guantanamo. Boomer says, Jacob, just sounds like something I would enjoy. What are you guys talking about over here? I totally missed it. Justin says, after that show, I feel confident saying Jacob Donenworth would have been an awesome 60 pilot. Jacob would have been awesome at whatever he wants to do. So go forward and do great things. Sir Nuggets boy, I never knew how rough it was for them. I feel bad for knowing about this. Don't feel bad. Hats off to the E2s with one kid and another on the way. Larry from the top rope. It's true, though. It's true. Hats off to the E2s with one kid and another on the way. That's so true. Bill Duds, what's up, dude? No one overlooking them. The kids, you mean, or the Guantanamo Bay people? Bill is a good buddy of mine who I served with in Afghanistan. Okie Life, what's up? Shout out to military kids. Okie Life, hey, how are you? We need to catch up. I'm sorry, I was on vacation in Nagano last week. I think when you last tried to reach out to me, I owe you a phone call for sure. Justin, hey, you got the right attitude to keep the crew. Oh, you're talking to. Sometimes you guys go in sidebar conversations. I don't know what's going on. Honestly, the government be messy sometimes. Boomer says, no question about it. More times than not. Andrew says, I'm not saying what should or shouldn't, just some legal precedent is all. Yeah, totally. If I'm just speaking my opinion, purely my opinion on this, detained people from Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Yemen, wherever that the United States has should be processed or charged or something. It's the right thing to do. Even if they're guilty, and then sentence them. It's just the right thing to do. I can't tell you how many people out there whose families are probably left behind in villages going, hey, they snatched up our dad like 12 years ago. Anybody got an idea where he's at? No, sorry, bud. All right. So I guess our dad is just gone from the world. So frankly, dealing with these prisoners, processing them something, it's just the right thing to do. That's what I think. That's my opinion. You guys can disagree with me in the chat, but at least do something. Don't do nothing. Do something. That's all I'm saying. Hey, what's up, JoJo? Welcome to the chat. Okie Life, thank you for the comment on the show today. It's only just started. We have just started. By the way, you guys, I will not be here tomorrow or the next day. I'm going to be working on that top secret project, which I hope to show you guys footage of by May. So I hope to show you guys footage of the top secret project by May, but bear with me. All these times that I've been like, I'm not going to be here tomorrow, show blackout day. It's always, except for when I was in Nagano last week, it's always working on this project, this top secret project. So I'll be out tomorrow and the next day, and I'll be back Thursday, 1800 Pacific Standard Time with the last show of the week. Now, we've been covering a couple stories about weapons and explosives going missing from training exercises, one particularly in Camp Pendleton. You know, the memes were on fire. There was fire memes about this missing munitions. And I've got an update for you guys. So it turns out recon Marine is being held in Camp Pendleton in connection with the missing ammo. So a 28-year-old recon Marine is being held in the brig at Camp Pendleton after he was charged with 6 counts of larceny and military property-related offenses involving missing ammunition from the base. This came out April 2nd, this news. The charges are against Sergeant Gunnar Naughton, which is a cool name. Why'd you have to go and do this, dude? You already got a great name. You had to ruin it. With 1st Reconnaissance Battalion following an Article 32 fact-finding hearing held on March 19th at the Western Judicial Circuit Court. This is from 2nd Lieutenant Butterbars Kyle McGuire. If Naughton's case is referred to a general court-martial, which is the worst you can get, a redacted charge sheet will provide more details on the materials that are missing. A second unidentified recon Marine is awaiting a similar Article 32 hearing, adding that they couldn't discuss the specific details or possible charges on the Marine's identity prior to the hearing. McGuire added that the Camp Pendleton investigation is unrelated to the 10 pounds of C4 explosives that were reported missing from Marine Air Combat Ground Center 29 Palms in March. So this is specifically related to Pendleton. At least 5 recon Marines, this is from ABC 10 News in San Diego, have allegedly stolen thousands of rounds of military-grade ammo and explosives. What are military-grade ammo? So there's types of ammunition and weapons that are only available legally to military for military training. All the different, types of tips of weapons that we have, green tip, black tip, blue tip, you name red tip. And a lot of that stuff you can only get as military law enforcement type stuff. Government, it's not available to the public. So they stole, and it says here, one Marine allegedly tried to sell the ammo online but got caught in a sting operation that was set up by federal agents. Oh, dude. How dumb. How dumb. In the chat, scale of 1 to 10. 1 being least dumb, 10 being dumbest. How dumb do you have to be to, in 2020 and 2021, steal from the military and try to sell the shit online? How many stories of this, of people getting caught doing this, do we have to do to deter people from doing this? This is a shame. This is a damn shame. It's a damn shame. According to military records, Naughton of Kansas started as a recruit at Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego in 2015. He went to U.S. Army Training Center Fort Leonard Wood in May. From September to November, he trained as part of the Chemical Biological Incident Response Force in Fort Meade, Indian Head, Maryland. There he trained as a chemical, radiological, and nuclear specialist. He joined the elite 1st Recon Battalion at Camp Pendleton in November 2019. So he's obviously he's a smart dude. He's probably got a high-level clearance if he's working for the CBR command, and then he goes and he steals weapons and ammo and then tries to sell them online. That's just a bad deal. So how did you guys answer this? We got a 20 out of 10, a 10 out of 10. Reminds me of the SEAL taking weapons across state lines and getting caught. Yes, there's many cases like this. People selling night vision goggles and even aircraft components. Sir Nugget says 10.5 on some dumb... I'll just leave it at that so I don't get YouTube struck. Larry D puts it at a 12. Earl at a 10. Jacob says, oh, come on. I bet the Craigslist username was DefNot NCIS. Super legit. Has a recon Marine, man. Come on. Ammo's expensive right now. Hey, Andrew's got a great point. Did the government drive him to do this? Infinite out of 10, Game Hope says. Angie's new to the chat. Angie, scale of 1 to 10. How dumb is it to steal military equipment and try to sell it on the internet? 1 being least dumb, 10 being the dumbest. What do you guys think? I like infinite out of 10. Justin says book smart, but if he was street smart, he would have known it was a setup. Bill says this is afterburner, full-blown mental. Oh, totally. Totally. So this is one of the dumbest things you can do. So many people have been caught doing this. I'm sure NCIS has a whole division of people whose whole job it is to scour eBay and Craigslist to buy military equipment in sting operations. So take this as your PSA. If you're military, if you're prior military or ex-military, if you're a government contractor, DOD civilian, dependent, whatever you are, this is not the way. This is not super legit. This is definitely not legit. Definitely not a Bravo Zulu. I'm giving this guy 60-60, half month's pay times 2, reduction in rank. No question about it. No, I'm just kidding. He's going to prison. So that's the real deal. Regal says, keep that shit. And the truth is, you would probably get away with it. Isn't that the horrible truth? The worst part of this, and it's honestly the truth, is if he just kept it, he probably would have gotten away with it. That's absolutely true. Let's see. Angie says, I'm getting a Nikki MGTV tattoo, but I'll get your name too. Hey, let me send you the logo to get. If you want to get a ScuttleButt Show tattoo, it's hashtag super legit. That's the ScuttleButt Show tattoo. ATF was smiling when they saw the sale go up online. Oh, yeah, totally. Let's see. Andrew says, my little broski had a lieutenant who stole a grenade and took his wife to the desert to just throw it. Nice. And they probably got away with it. Let's see. Don't steal U.S. weapons. Good call. And she accidentally let it slip to the other Marine wives and had like 5,000 rounds for himself. Oh, no. Well, you know what they say. The only way for 2 people to keep a secret is if one of them is dead. Is that the saying? People cannot keep a secret. Don't trust anybody. Now, in reference to yesterday's story about one female getting assaulted by 22 cadre in Fort Sill, which I don't have any updates on that specifically, but I don't know if we should congratulate the Army or what we should do. 18 Army instructors charged with sexual abuse since 2019, data shows. Well, the Army just beat that in one day. The Army just topped the numbers from 2019 to 2021 in 2 years in one day. So Army strong? Is that Army strong? What is that? So between January 19 and January 21, the Army charged 18 soldiers under a new law designed to protect trainees, cadets, and applicants from sexual abuse, according to the data the Army provided Military Times. Article 93A of the Uniform Code of Military Justice criminalizes prohibited sexual relationship between recruiters or training instructors, such as drill sergeants, and specially protected junior members of the armed forces. So that's why this is relevant, because this is talking about this current ongoing case, because this is the law that makes a, I don't want to say consensual because by definition it's not, but a person who in the moment appears like a consenting adult to be actually like under statutory law because they cannot consent while they're in a special training status. So if you're an applicant, a DEP member, or a service member undergoing initial training, you're protected. You're a protected service member. So, you know, out of the 18 that were charged, only 7 of the accused soldiers have actually been convicted. So 7 out of 18. So 11 out of 18 were not convicted, but 5 cases were still pending as of January 2021. And as of January 2021, 4 Fort Sill soldiers have been charged under Article 93A, but none have been convicted. And 1 accused soldier pled guilty to a lesser charge under Article 92, disobeying a direct order, for violating regulations with the same trainee, said Leonard. These 3 cases, there were pending as of January. And that is relevant because this new case at Fort Sill means that we might have 22 being caught up in something happened there with 1 recruit. 22 cadre, 1 recruit. I'm going to leave all the jokes I can make about that on the table for you guys in the comments. But that is not a good look for the Army. Whatever ends up happening here, that is not a good look. What do you guys say in the chat? Let's see. Regal, I got it in 1 piece at a time, and it didn't cost me a dime. Yeah, there you go. 1 piece at a time. Don't tell anybody. Probably don't comment in the chat, and good to go. Some justice has been brought, at least for who, Sir Nuggets. I totally missed when that comment came in. Hookah. Andrew says statutory. Okay, that's good. You clarified the logo because I would have walked around with ScuttleButt on me. Hey, you can get ScuttleButt. That might be better. That, you know, just the word ScuttleButt does not necessarily tie you to me. It's just a cool word with a great meaning. Larry D says males train males and females train females. I know that's old school, but it would stop some at least. I don't know. I mean, probably not, to be honest. You know, there's no more don't ask, don't tell. There's a lot of openly gay service members and cadre, which is totally fine by me. I 100% support it. But they could have their own sexual relationships. So just by segregating men and women, I don't think that would necessarily make any impact or the meaningful impact you might be thinking on these types of cases. Boomer says, I'm surprised the Army didn't shove it under the rug. Sometimes you can't, because I feel like I agree with you. I feel like based on what I've been reading lately from the Army, they might have tried that, but sometimes you can't. They had to have done that in groups. We'll go ahead and leave that one alone. Yeah, danger zone. We'll leave that one alone. I'm interested in the circumstances of this, Andrew says. I think we will find out in due time. So believe me, I'm going to keep that story on my watch list on the blotter. So any updates with that story, and I will have them for you on the show. Where do I go from here? I think that the next story I want to do is this. This is our next story. Taliban, sorry about this ad from 511 being all invasive. Taliban threatens to attack U.S. troops if they're not gone by May 1st. So the current plan, starting with President Trump, carrying over to President Biden, is that the United States would remove all troops from Afghanistan by May 1st of this year. The Taliban has threatened to attack any U.S. troops that remain in Afghanistan after May 1st in response to Joe Biden's refusal on Thursday to commit to the withdrawal deadline. If, God forbid, all foreign troops do not withdraw from Afghanistan on the specified date in line with the Doha Agreement, undoubtedly it will be considered a violation of the accord by America for which it shall be held liable and which shall also harm its international standing, the Taliban announced. And you know how much we care about what the Taliban announces. But, I just want to make one reference here because they said the Doha Agreement, and I've got the Doha Agreement pulled up here. According to Wikipedia, because I don't know what the Doha Agreement is. According to Wikipedia, the Doha Agreement was an agreement reached by rival Lebanese factions on 21st May 2008 in Doha, Qatar. The agreement marked the end of an 18-month-long political crisis in Lebanon. So I don't know all the provisions here very well. I'm not some international lawyer. I haven't found anything specifically. Let's see. The United States welcomes the agreement reached by the Lebanese leaders in Doha. We review this agreement as a positive step towards resolving the current crisis by electing a president and forming a new government, addressing Lebanon's electoral law consistent with the Arab League Initiative. The United States supports the government of Lebanon and its complete authority over the entire territory of the country. I don't know how the Taliban references the Doha Agreement in this, unless I'm totally missing something. I will correct myself if I find out some better information for you guys. But Biden said on Thursday, it's going to be hard to meet the May 1st deadline, which, by the way, is in like 25 days. Actually, I don't think this was last Thursday. I think this was about 2 weeks ago. May 1st is in 25 days. Apparently, we just found out like 2 weeks ago. I don't know if you guys were watching the show, but I just covered the story of how there's actually more than 2,500 troops in Afghanistan because they weren't counting temporarily deployed augmented units that were rotating in and out of Afghanistan in that 2,500. So, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So, apparently, Task and Purpose here cites that there's roughly 3,500 troops in Afghanistan. And this article was written about 10 days ago. While the Taliban have refrained from attacking U.S. forces, they have ramped up the violence elsewhere in Afghanistan. General Richard Clark, head of U.S. Special Operations Command, testified. U.S. officials have repeatedly said that the war in Afghanistan must be ended through a negotiated settlement, but a peace deal has remained elusive. There's no chance that the United States will be out of Afghanistan by May 1st. It's just not realistic. So I don't think that we should be too optimistic about that. I'm certainly not. But I just saw a comment. I'm just laughing. If America is not out of Afghanistan on May 1st, should we expect that the Taliban will launch attacks on Bagram and other major bases where the United States is at? We'll see. And if they do, then what do we do? I'm sure that they have already figured out in the White House, if May 1st comes and the United States' presence in Afghanistan is still 3,500 and the Taliban attack the United States presence there, what do we do? What do we do? I'm not even going to answer the question right now. I've told you guys what I think many times on this show. What do you guys think? Retaliate? Increase? Presence there? What do we do? Where's the line? Let's see. Let me catch up on the chat here. I bet if any E7s were involved, it fades away. Talking about Fort Sill. Angie says, I'm going to be a SC in the Navy. I just have to recover from surgery. Actually, I told you when I got out of surgery, didn't I? And yeah, by the way, thanks for writing me a speedy recovery. Yes, Angie, I remember you telling me that, and that's awesome. I'm super excited for you to join, and I would love to follow your progress there, so feel free to drop me an email anytime. I'd love to hear all about it. Regal says, Biden is a lizard person. That made me laugh. Andrew says, why would we get rid of QRF fighter jet bases that border Iran? Sir Nugget says, do you mean by no chance is that too much equipment to be moved by the deadline? Larry says, you can't have a peace deal with people who aren't interested in peace. True. Shock and awe 2021. Maybe. Just a hypothetical, what if we nuke them? That's a pretty good hypothetical. I mean, that's not even worth entertaining. To be totally honest, the likelihood of that. I mean, it wouldn't be fair to the civilians, but, I think we've all had our moments in extreme, motions where we're like, just glass this place, but it's really not the right thing to do. Well, at this rate, I say we should negotiate to push the deadline for more time, send in the 60s, and they'll take care of it. Justin's response to everything is the 60s. So send in the 60s, the Blackhawks, the Seahawks, make it happen. Maybe. Moabs. Drop a whole bunch more Moabs. Yeah, maybe that too. Let's see. To answer Sir Nugget's question, do I mean by no chance is there too much equipment to move? I think when I say by no chance, I say no chance. What I mean is there's no real motivation for the United States to meet that deadline. Threats from the Taliban is not motivation, so I don't really see it happening. If it's not easy enough to do, if it's not reasonable enough to do with the information that they have, the decisions they make, I don't think that they would find any real motivation to meet that deadline. Boomer says, I wouldn't think at all be the right thing to do, but it's fun to think about. Let the F-22 and the A-10s sing. There you go. Send them in. Send the A-10s, send the 22s. Hell yeah. All day. If the Taliban try to attack Americans, send in gunships. I'm down with that. Send in Moabs. I'm down with that. So this is cool. This is pretty cool. We've got the greatest beer run ever is getting a war movie made about it. Now, I don't know if you guys know this story, but there's a story of a guy whose buddies were in Vietnam, and he said, you know what? I'm going to bring those guys a beer. And he goes on this journey to bring his buddies in Vietnam a beer. And now they're talking about making a movie about it. They're talking about getting Russell Crowe. They're talking about getting Zac Efron, all these major actors. And what I have here is a video about this. So let's watch this video. It's a little long, but I think it'd be fun for us to watch together. And it's going to be just in time for us to watch this, to watch Squad and get out of here today. So let's check this out. Let's check this out and see what's up with the greatest beer run ever, the true story, and if there's going to be a movie.
All of these guys grew up in the neighborhood, in my neighborhood, Inwood, in northern Manhattan. And during Vietnam, as it went on and on and on, most of the kids in Inwood were either there, on their way there, or on their way back from there. A lot of my friends were serving in Vietnam. I just wanted to go over there and buy them all a beer. That's what I did.
That's an American hero right there.
I knew him from around the neighborhood, but we ended up getting an apartment together. I don't know how the hell we ever paid the rent.
Chicky Dunny was always a great guy. When I say that to you, he was different. He was wild. He was great. He did things that nobody else would think about doing.
He had a rep for being like a little bit of a wild child, you know, like a little, you know, whatever. And so that's what made him unique.
Are they all here?
Hey, Dunny.
Is this the USO? How are you, brother? I'll never forget the look at your face.
Like it was yesterday.
Wow. Holy shit. 47 years.
Ricky had to give up his punch off here.
Wow.
So I'm in a bar, and it's Georgie Lynch was tending bar, and he was going on about the demonstrators marching through Central Park. And he says, Chucky, I want you to give me Siemens papers. Well, Siemens papers is like an ID card. I said, George, what the hell do you want my papers for? He says, this is bullshit, all that stuff going on down there, all them commie pinko lefties demonstrating against our guys. Somebody's got to go and buy them a beer.
Yeah, he was a patriotic man.
So I said, listen, George, the next time I go to Vietnam, I'll buy the guys a drink, okay? I'll take care of it for you. Don't worry about it. See, I'd been there twice before. I was a merchant seaman at the time. I said, okay, I'll do it.
So a merchant seaman, there's these merchant marines. They are civilians who provide naval support, supply, and logistics. They do a great and important mission. They work with the U.S. Navy. They're protected by the U.S. Navy. I deployed on a merchant marine ship with Justin in the chat, and it was one of the best fun times on a ship you'll ever have. So just so you guys know what a merchant seaman is, these guys are interesting. They're pirates. Like, merchant marines are basically pirates. So just a little background what that is.
Just get me the names. I didn't think I could do it, to tell you honestly. I said, I'll give it a try. It was one of them things. I come to the bar the next day. He had your mother there.
I didn't even know she was dating.
No. She was waiting there for me. He assured her that I was going to go over to Vietnam and find her Tommy. And the next day, George had all the addresses, and I was in. I went down to the Union Hall, threw in my card. There on the top of the list was the SS Drake Victory heading for Vietnam. My last 2 times in Vietnam, I didn't see no danger. I didn't experience any real firefights or bombings or anything. You know, to me it was the Bronx or something. I was gonna work other guys' shifts and then have them owe me shifts. And when we got to Vietnam, I didn't think it would take me more than 2 or 3 days to see these guys. So I had to make up this story that I was going to see my stepbrother. And we just lost Mom. I gave him a sob story. And as it worked out, they pulled into Quinnon. I saw these MPs, they were coming on the ship, and they had their numbers painted on their helmets. I think it was 127 MP. I looked at my list, and it's the same number. I said, Christ, that's Collins' address.
Yeah. I'm looking over the ship, and the next thing is I see Chicky Denny. I said, what the hell are you doing here? He says, I came to see you. Yeah, that's exactly what you said.
He asked me who I was with. I said, I'm with you.
He's in a combat zone, and here he is walking around like he's going on a golf outing or wherever the hell he's going. Hey,
Getting over his initial surprise, just slapping each other on the back. Hey, it's great. And he says, what are you doing? I told him what I was doing. Took out a beer. We drank it.
he'd have warm beer on. Where the hell are you getting this thing? I mean, you just got in country. Where the hell did you get it from, you know? But that was Chick.
I took a case of Pabst. If I had a burlap bag, I had at least 18 cans or something.
We got drunk, needless to say.
And that lieutenant actually tried to interfere with us singing inside.
Well, you straightened about.
He brought his buddies along, and we went to a number of bars. I guess we were in one bar, and I was never forget a big Texan guy there, and he had a first air cav patch on, and that was the next guy on the list, Ricky Dugan. I said, oh, wow. I don't think I was in the country 48 hours, and that would have been two guys I found already. So I used the same scenario. Looking for my stepbrother, you know, he's up there. Is there any way of getting a ride with you? You be on a tarmac at 0800 hours, and I'll take you up to see your stepbrother.
The balls on this dude, the sack on this guy to pull this off just without even thinking about it. How crazy is it also that when you were in Vietnam, you could be in the city and feel like a war wasn't even going on, and then you could go out into the jungle and be in the worst, you know, combat you could ever imagine in your life? That's so crazy.
Boy. I got off the plane, and you know, they didn't have bathrooms on their planes. So I relieved myself in the tall grass there. And a guy walked over to me, he says, hey, what are you, some kind of animal? You're in the real world now. I'm looking at him. He thinks this is the real world. The sergeant says, who's this guy? Who are you? He said, I'm looking for Rick Dugan. And all the time I thought it was going to blow up. All the time I thought some major was going to say to me, hey, what the hell are you doing here? This guy seemed to be the type of guy you could tell the truth to. I don't know why, I guess. I said, I promised him I'd come up and buy him a beer. Holy shit, he says, I don't believe this. He says to the guy, he says, call him in here.
First of all, this was uncharted territory for the most part. There weren't a lot of military installations that far north, and we were setting up and digging our foxholes and so on and so forth, and then I get a message on the radio that I have to come back into the main perimeter. It was a little sketchy because, you know, I have to now negotiate this 500 meters by myself, and it's kind of getting a little, you know. And I walk in, and there's a sergeant down. I said, "Dear Sergeant, what's you call me back in?" He said, "I didn't call you back in." He said, "This guy did." He pops out from out of this thing.
I say, hey, Ricky, how are you? What the hell are you doing here?
Chicky Dunny. In a Madras shirt, and light denim jeans.
No, they were
powder
bleached.
blue. Like
They were
powder
bleached.
black. They were like a very light
jeans.
powder blue.
They weren't exactly camouflaged.
Well, I had to put a poncho on him immediately because otherwise it's like, you know, shoot me, I'm from New York. Then I started walking him back out to where I had just come from, and I stopped and I said, I can't do this. This guy, he shouldn't be here. He's not, I mean, if he gets hurt, it's on us. So I said to the sergeant, he said, he's all yours, pal. So out he came with us.
He introduces me to his buddies. So what is he doing here? So he's, all right, so let's have a beer. I got a six-pack or whatever.
He's looking around. He doesn't see any buildings or anything. He said, where do we sleep? What do we do? Where do we sleep here? This is an ambush perimeter.
While that was going on, he says, now listen, you know where our line is. It's right over there, you know, and he's pointing. Shortly after, maybe 20 minutes, there was firing off on the left. And I said, holy shit.
He spent a scary night with us, and I think he, at some point, regretted that he did this.
That night was, yes, I thought about this Might have been a dumb thing to do.
Well, yeah, we got through the night unscathed, and then morning comes and he's looking for food. So I handed him a can of ham and lima beans, and here's a P-38. I hope you know how to use that. It's the only way you get in that can.
I still have it.
Yeah, I still have mine also.
The little,
Yeah, the little can.
38 revolutions.
Yeah, absolutely. I said to the lieutenant, I said, you got to get him out of here. He's a civilian. And was he become the company mascot? I said, we got to get him out of here.
Dugan gets somebody to put me on a helicopter. I went into Quinnon and my ship south. It was gone.
Day or two later, Chicky comes back and he's filthy. His white jeans weren't white no more. They were filthy.
Yeah, well, I was the same clothes on. The same clothes that I found you the week
About
before.
3 days now, whatever.
You know, so anyway, as it turns out, we got somebody to give him another lift out to an airfield so he could try to get down to Saigon.
Then I had Bobby still on my list. I said, you know, where is this outfit? And then somebody told me, oh, that's up in Long Bin. I said, where the hell is Long Bin? And they said, oh, it's not far. It's about 20, 25 miles up the road. So some guy offered me a lift to the gate, tried to get the guy in the gate to take me in to see Pappas. And the guy says, who are you? I said, I'm his stepbrother, you know, and I gave him the whole story about Mom dying.
He said, oh, yeah, you're crazy enough to be his brother. So I brought him in, you know. He's lucky he didn't get court-martialed.
He says, holy shit. He says, I heard you were over here.
I got a letter from Chicky's wife, and I was a little pissed. For 5 or 6 days, he was over here and had jumped ship, and I hadn't heard a word from him, and we were the best of friends, you know. We ended up going over to the NCO club. I gave him new clothes because he stunk.
We spent a couple of days partying and He says, where are you? I said, I'm in Saigon. Geez, I heard they hit them bad. I said, oh, man, it's over. I said, it's just, that was just a thing to get to the negotiating table. Just to say something, you know, to, I don't know, what do you say to a guy who's in a bunker who won the Knicks game last night?
I was hoping that he was right, you know. We really hadn't seen much action up until that point. So he went back down to Saigon, I went back to work, and a couple of nights later, we got overrun.
Went back to Saigon, and all of a sudden, the sky lit up north of Saigon. Just lit up, just like one big fireball. Somebody with some authority says, that's got to be the ammo dump. And that's the same ammo dump that Bobby was in the center of. Hitchhiker ride back up there. Went back to the same gate. And I walk in the doorway, and Bobby looks at me, and he screams at the top of his lungs, you effing this and that, you told me the effing war was over. He says, look at this place. Do you think there's effing war?
He kind of exaggerates the story a little bit, or maybe I don't remember it quite as much. I know that I ribbed him a little bit about it. Oh, yeah, the war's over, the war's over. Thank God you came and told me, you know.
I thought for sure he was dead. And here he was calling me every rotten name in the book, and it just made me happy. I said, there's nothing wrong with my buddy. This guy's fine, nothing wrong with him.
Of course, we went drinking, and then the next day I got him a ride back down to Saigon, and that was the last I saw of him.
A couple of weeks after that, I walked in the door of Chambers. The colonel was there, Colonel Lynch, the guy who started all of this. And he says, he's here, he's alive.
After he left, these guys in my squad, they were mesmerized. I mean, I've never seen these guys, like, you don't have to be here and you're here. I don't understand this. Why is this happening? The fact that he showed up was like, well, there's actually people in the neighborhood that still care about us.
Something I don't think I'll ever forget. Seeing him come true, it was just, who comes over to see somebody and spend so much time, you know, putting himself in harm's way, really.
But to come here today, leave it at Chicky, he'd find a way, you know, to come up with another stunt.
It was a pleasure. It really was nice to see him. He looks great, you know. He still can talk.
Needless to say, it was a while before I had to pay for my own beer.
Legend. What a legend. What a story. I mean, what do you do with that? There's no topping that. That's as good as it gets. That's as good a military story as you'll ever get. I hope that they make a movie about that so bad. I can't wait to see a movie about that. Merchant Marines are, just one quick story about Merchant Marines. every one of these guys and gals is so interesting. They're so crazy. They're wild. They are wild. One quick story. I'm pretty sure we were leaving the Philippines, and on the merchant marine ship, the USNS Bridge, TAOE-10, if my memory serves me correctly. And we're pulling out of the Philippines. We're steaming away into the Pacific, and a jet ski starts chasing the boat. And there is a dude driving the jet ski and somebody else on the back of the jet ski, and it's one of the merchant marines who missed ship's movement. They throw down a cargo net. I guess he partied a little too hard, and he had to climb up this cargo net to get back up on the ship. Merchant marines are just wild people. They have a cool life. If you've ever thought about going out in the Navy, but you didn't want to join the Navy, maybe take a look at merchant marines. This guy, absolute legend. Chicky, bravo Zulu, bud. Thank you for your service. I can't think of a more meaningful gesture than to risk your life, put your life on the line, and go out there to see your buddies who are serving in Vietnam and bring them a beer. What? I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments about that, and that is out of control awesome. Justin, thank you for confirming that story. Yes, do you remember that? How crazy were the merchant marines on the bridge? How wild were those guys and gals? That was crazy. So I've got all right, so one last story today. One last story, because I had two more stories, but they're too much. They're too much. Too much for today. So what we're going to do is I've got one more thing to cover today by request, okay? This is by request. And so Andrew, I hope I answered your question. Oh, you were a merchant marine. I hope I answered your question about what ship we were on. And I hope you guys like that. So Sir Nugget says, this restores a lot of faith in humanity. To be clear, that ending was so good. Boomer, see you later. Thanks for being here today. Merchant Marine pays very well. That's true. That's true. My Chiefs mate was literally crazy. Yeah, we had a crazy, I think Chiefs mates are crazy. I think that's part of the selection process, because we had a crazy Chiefs mate too. I think he used to nude sunbathe. Justin, fact check me. Was he the one who used to nude sunbathe on the top of the ship? So those merchant marines were wild, 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 wild. So I've got one more story. Apparently, there's this new video game. Apparently, I'm the military video game guy now. So there's a new-ish video game called Squad, and Squad 2 is coming out today. As of today, the trailer for Squad 2 dropped. Very unspecific and vague, and it doesn't really show anything about the game. But Squad is a military multiplayer shooter, online multiplayer first-person shooter that aims to capture combat realism through communication and team play. Built from the ground up in Unreal, Squad will pit teams of up to 50 people against each other in intense modern-day combined arms combat scenarios. In this realistic environment, the flow of the game is dictated by the players, with organic and emergent gameplay reigning supreme. So, is Squad a good game? Is Squad worth checking out? I don't know. What I've done is I've picked up a Squad gameplay video. So let's watch this Squad gameplay video and see if Squad looks like a cool game that would be worth checking out if you are into military video games. So this is going to be a military combat veteran reacts to Squad, the video game. So hold on. Do you guys see this? This looks like Fallujah. This looks like Fallujah again. So I think one of the levels in here might be Fallujah, Iraq. 6 years. Did that say Hasco? So they've got the Hascos. That's a nice play on it. So they've got the Hasco barriers, those filled with cement. That's very realistic to use Hascos as a way to Hescos as a way to protect your base. Giant cardboard boxes wrapped in like basically a chain link fence filled with dirt. Gotta love some Hesco barriers. So if these are game graphics, those look pretty good. The graphics look pretty good. It definitely looks as dirty as Iraq is. If this is supposed to be Iraq, it definitely looks filthy, sandy, grimy, run down, all the things that I can smell this level. Like I can smell this level. I can feel the hot air in my face, burning my eyes because I didn't have my eye pro on. And I'm like, the sand, the heat. My eyes. I can't drive in this. That's I can feel that on this level. Oh shit. Hold on. Damn, so they have IEDs in the road in this game? Is that actually in the middle of a game, in the middle of like a 50-on-50, you can get hit by an IED? If that's what that was? If this game has IEDs, that would be crazy. So you can, it looks like you can be a driver. Now I hear people talking. I hear people having a conversation in this game. My question for the developers of this game is if they wanted to create a realistic combat scenario, why do their radios work? Like this should, the number one thing I would do to create a realistic modern warfare game is ruin the comms. Like definitely I would have dropped crypto be a thing. So you're playing, and then you're like, your radio has dropped crypto. Or you only understand a couple words out of every sentence, something like that. Like if you want to simulate combat, modern combat, the radio should be very low quality. That is for sure. You should have to deal with an antenna whipping in front of your face like this. That should definitely be a thing. There should be all kinds of radio problems.
Run supplies back and forth. The tanks were.
Well, this looks pretty cool, actually. So you can fly a helicopter, you can drive a tank, you can drive a truck, you can hop in for a ride. The maps look pretty big. That's pretty interesting. I'm kind of impressed.
Going towards abandoned hangars.
Jack, meet at that move mark. Cut the engines when you get there.
Is that a mine?
Grenade.
Oh, fuck. Oh,
Okay, so this is cool. So if I rewind here just a little bit, this guy, this must be I'm assuming this is one of the militia factions, maybe terrorists, if you can play as terrorists, but they're in the back of a pickup truck with a PKM machine gun, like basically a 50 cal that they're using to shoot at, whoever their enemy is. I think that's what I'm looking at here. It's so dark, I can't really I'm assuming that's what this is supposed to be, is like a PKM in the back of a Hilux or something. So it looks like this is probably the bad guys or whatever. Just, I can't really tell because it's kind of dark, but that would be cool if they have like up-armored Toyota Hiluxes with anti-aircraft guns stapled to the back of this thing and they're bouncing around while you're driving. They should be lower quality. Like those vehicles should be lower quality, more malfunctions, flat tires. The vehicles are too heavy to drive, so they just get flat tires and break down. That would be a cool simulation in there too. Sorry, Dishka. A Dishka. I called it a PKM. What I meant to say was a Dishka. A Dishka machine gun would be in the back of one of those things.
Fuck, that's devastating. Let's go. Oh, sorry. Oh, the medic fire. Oh, nice. Look at that.
Damn, somebody's blasted that helicopter out of the sky. This game looks intense.
Come on! We're going to let you know IP.
Oh my God, bro.
So the fact that you can do a buddy drag here by the kit means I'm assuming you can med pack somebody and like heal them and bring them back to life or whatever. So there's probably, I don't know if at this point I would call this realistic. It's definitely a first-person shooter video game, but it definitely seems like they're trying to use modern weapons, modern terrain, modern maps to create like a big modern warfare battle royale, which I can appreciate that. Squad. Download now. All right, that's pretty cool. That was pretty cool. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I check out Squad? Should I go on there and are you interested in going on there and checking out Squad as a video game? Would you play this? Have you played this? Do you recommend it? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Squad is a realistic game? Is it unrealistic? Where does it fall on the line for you? I'd love to hear all that in the comments down below. And the main question, let me know in the comments, would you want to see me jump on and try some of these military video games? I am not a gamer. I'm definitely not claiming to be a gamer. Would you want to watch me try to even get my character put together and try one of these games? Let me know in the comments. If there's enough interest, I'll consider doing it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that preview of Squad. All right, let me catch up on the chat here real quick. So what do we got? I feel like there was a lot of comments while I was looking at that. Zac Efron, really, he is short. He's like 5'2". If you guys saw that show on Netflix with Zac Efron, where he travels around and tries food in other countries, it was actually a pretty dope show. I've always liked Zac Efron. I thought he was pretty funny, and I would definitely watch him in this movie. Squad, Sir Nuggets loves this. Sir Nuggets says, I'm getting a PC just to play. I'm fanboying over this. I love this game and wanted it forever. Okay, cool. So you're a big fan. Angie says, when it comes to military movies, women want to see big men in the movies. Andrew, 5'7", is short, like a man who's 6 foot and up. Hey, you know, a lot of real American heroes weren't tall, so I hope that they're portrayed realistically. That's what I'll say. You could go watch Chris Hemsworth in Extraction, right? And he's Thor. You know what I mean? But I hope that real people are portrayed realistically. It is Fallujah, Sir Nugget says. Okay, cool. There's a Fallujah map. Who wears black boots? Sir Nugget says IEDs can be set off. Okay, there are IEDs. Interesting. It's team-based. Losing ComSec. Yeah. Blue Force Tracker is down for years. Yeah, absolutely. You can be a pilot, crew, tank crew, logistics crew, squad. That's awesome. When he said low quality, I started dying. For the enemy vehicles, or like the Iraqi insurgent vehicles, yeah, they're low quality. There's anti-aircraft on the back of trucks as well. Oh, no kidding. Interesting. Yeah, I remember in Afghanistan watching this pickup truck roll through with this giant anti-aircraft gun, like the kind that still had a wheel to turn yourself around like this. And I was like, what is happening? I just thought, what is this? What is happening? It looked like the truck was going to tip over backwards, out of control. Let's see. Sir Nuggets recommends. It's clear Sir Nuggets likes this game and digs it. Okay, I would check it out. Chris says, I don't own a PC. Damn, why are all these games only on PC? Dangerous Zone says, yes, please try them. Angie says, how do I follow you on Instagram and send a DM? I would respond. You can find me at the ScuttleButt Show on Instagram. My Instagram is the ScuttleButt Show, and I would definitely respond. I would love to see you play this, but I don't want to push you on it. Okay, I might try it. Regal says, I might try it. I just quoted Regal with the I might try it. Motorpit says, I wonder if they spoke with clinicians about the impact of exposure therapy on combat vets. Maybe that factored into not getting too realistic. Maybe. Was it a white Toyota truck, Chris says? I can't remember, man. My memory tells me it was like a green, like a tan green type color, but I don't remember. We had the hand crank on one of our turrets in Iraq. Marine Corps is poor. Oh, man. Yeah. Well, when I was in Afghanistan in 2013-14, we didn't even have turrets. We had the RWS or Crow systems, the robotic turrets, which were so cool and awesome to have. But in 2009, a lot of the turrets were they weren't hand cranked, but you would just turn them with your body, you know? When I did crew serve weapons gunner training, and I had like a crew serve weapons job, like turret gunner job in Afghanistan, where I never really did anything cool with that or anything dangerous, but it was one of my collateral duties or whatever. We would turn the turret manually. So they added like insurgent captured Humvees recently. Oh, that's cool. That's actually pretty cool. I'll try not to spoil it for you as much as I can. Well, thank you. Crow is super legit. Yeah, Crow systems are super legit, for sure. Crow systems are dope. If you can get those, you're just a death dealer. Like, I've seen shots out to like 5 kilometers with those laser designator Crow system shots. Out of control. Totally awesome. All right, guys. So, like I said, I'm not going to be in tomorrow or the next day, which would be Tuesday and Wednesday, United States time. I'll be back Thursday, 1800 Pacific. I'm working on that project, that film project that we're doing. I can't wait to share it with you guys. Hopefully in May, I'll be able to share some with you guys. More to come on that. As always, if you have a chance and are interested, check out the links in the description for how you can support the channel by either buying merch from ScuttleButtShow.com or joining Patreon. If you do join Patreon for $10 a month, on your second month, I'm going to send you a free t-shirt for being a patron. In addition to all the other special perks that you get as a patron, that is one of them, is a free t-shirt on your second month at the $10 a month. Oh, super chat. Just looks like we got a $5 super chat to the squad fund from Andrew. Thank you very much to the squad fund. Okay, so we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure out squad and battle. And I'm sorry, not 6 days in Fallujah. We're going to figure out squad and 6 days in Fallujah. Because like I said, I am excited. I did get the email from the dev team, which I know some other YouTubers have gotten, some other, influencers or whatever. Some like people who are bigger than me, you would call influencers, have gotten those emails. And as more information about 6 days in Fallujah comes out, I will update you guys. Oh, and one more thing. I spoke to the dev team at 6 days in Fallujah, and all of the people that you see in the trailer are real footage, not computer generated, which still seems hard to believe to me, especially when you see the one low angle shot of the one. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's all cleared up now. I had to correct myself, or not correct myself, but I was thinking it might be computer generated. It's all real. So just so you guys know. Larry D says, Alpha Mike Foxtrot. Sir Nugget says, man, I love this stream from the start, but with your reaction, the squad made it somehow even better. Thank you, Sir Nuggets. Well, I'm glad you just found us recently because we have just started talking about, like, this is the first time I've ever heard of squad was because people on the 6 days in Fallujah video commented and told me to check it out. So I'm glad that I was able to do that for you, and I will create some more squad content if that's what people want to see. I'm down. I'm here for you guys. So with that being said, as always, it's a pleasure to have you guys here and talk to you. I look forward to talking to you very, very soon. And I am out for now.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.